Hello. If you're looking to buy a property, you're a property investor, you want to buy a property, you might not have done it yet, or you've already bought a couple of properties, you might talk to me when I'm speaking or as a coach and say, this is the big question I have. This is the big question that you can answer for me. And once I know the answer to this question, I can go out and buy a property. I just want you to tell me the answer to this one question. It's a huge question. And if you get it wrong, it can cost you thousands. If you get it right, it can make you a lot of money too. Thousands, millions even. So what's the question? You probably guessed, but let me show you. So you're ready to buy. The big question is, where? Where are you going to buy the property? And that's what most people want to know. Whether it's because we bought 70 properties in less than 6 years that people think I know everything, they'll ask me that question. Is it the location? Is it that location? Is it that location? Is it this location? I need to know where to buy. That's all I need to know. But I have a problem, because what happens is if you don't know your strategy, then you don't know where to buy, and I don't know where to tell you to buy, because first of all you have to go back a bit and look at your strategy, because what happens is you get overwhelmed. There are so many places you could buy. If you don't define what it is that you want, you'll be chasing your tail, or you'll be sucked into the wrong property. I'll give you an example. A really good friend of mine, I wasn't doing coaching at the time, and she was just sort of running past us what we were doing, and I was saying, oh, we're doing cash flow positive property, and we're buying a heap of property, and we left work. And she was really inspired by that, which was great. But what I didn't realise is that on the side, she was actually looking at buying herself. So she went to a real estate agent and she said that she wanted to invest. They told her all the different details about this amazing location, the capital growth it had, how awesome it was, how much money she can make from it. They did all the finances for her. And she told me after she'd bought it. And once she told me, I mean, what do you do? It's like somebody says, do you like my boots? I just paid $300 for them. And you go, oh, they're really good. So I didn't want to burst her bubble. She'd already bought the property. But as time went on and I asked a few more questions, and things started to go wrong, and I sort of had an inkling that they would. It took a few years before that happened, but once it did, it made a huge difference. In fact, she had to sell a house to cover the loss that she had on this property. I felt really bad, and that's actually when I got into coaching more, because I felt that I had all the information, but I'd only given her a little bit. I just said cash flow positive, and yes, we're buying there, and yes, it's great. I hadn't gone through and explained all the different things that you have to look at. So I just want to share with you guys that it's not just about where. You need to think a little bit more before you even start looking for property. Stop, focus on what it is that you want. So you've got to look at your strategy. Now that's going to take a bit of looking at, because it's not just one thing that fits everybody. It means we look at a number of things. So as a coach, I look at a number of things anyway. It's up to you what you look at. But the things I suggest would be you make sure that you look at your personality profile, just to see what type of things you're better at and not so good at. The things you're not so good at, you need to delegate. But then you've got to make sure you can get somebody who can trust to delegate too. Then you want to make sure from your financial perspective, where are you at? And not just where you are now, but also looking at your goals. And when you know your goals, where you want to be, what you want to do, what your life's going to look at a certain point in time, that helps us define what the strategy is going to be to help you meet that goal. Because let's face it, property is normally a vehicle. It's a vehicle to achieve your dreams and fulfillment. But it's a vehicle. So you need to make sure you're driving it in the right direction and it's not driving you in the wrong direction or over the cliff. So you've got to look at your personality profile, your finances, your risk profile. Like, what are you comfortable with? What are you not comfortable with? It's good to come out of your comfort zone a little bit, but if it's too much too quickly, you could find that you're not sleeping at night. You end up selling the property quickly because you just can't handle it. So you've got to get that right. The other thing we look at is the physical location and issues around that, because it may be that you've got some other commitments like children or elderly parents, or some physical issues that mean that you can't do certain things or go certain places. So we look at all that as well. So there's a number of different factors we look at. In fact, there's 5. We also look at your skills to make sure that whatever we do is going to be something that you are comfortable with doing. But again, we always want to increase your skills, but you've got to have a good base to start from. Because if you get that first property wrong, or even the second property wrong, it stops you in your tracks. So let's make sure that you go back, check your goals, where you're going, organise your strategy, and then that'll give you much more indication of where you should buy. And it really takes commitment, because some people think that they're just going to come in and we'll do a bit of work together and then they can go and buy a property, or they can go and Google, find out what they want to do, and they can go and do it. I must admit, if you ever tried Googling what's my best strategy, you'll come up with a lot of people who just want to sell you their property. So just be warned. This is something that you have to work on yourself. It's all about you and your life, and you have to work on it. If you need help, that's fine, but just make sure you get it from somebody you can trust and who isn't selling you a property. Because let's face it, if I was selling you a property, I'm going to really want to have you choose a certain strategy that's going to suit the property that I want to sell you. So that's why I don't sell property. Anyway. So commitment is a key thing. If you want to invest in property, you're going to have to commit some time, which means you've got to do the homework, you've got to do your strategy, you've got to get all that organised, then you'll be doing some research. And the research will take some time to work out the area that's going to be best and the type of property that you'll be looking at that will suit that strategy. So don't just rush out, buy a property. Don't get talked into something because somebody else thinks it's a good idea, either a friend, taxi driver, real estate agent. Even some buyer's agents actually have properties they just want to sell you. So just be careful and make a commitment to yourself that you're going to do it properly. So go back, work out all about you, then you can work out where to buy. And that'll take a bit of research, which is another topic, but we can talk about that again. If you need some help, I can give you 15 minutes free time. It's a free consultation, rachelbarnes.setmore.com. Just book a time. I'm traveling at the moment, so I try and do everything through that system so that we can sort of tee up a time fairly easily. There's no charge, no obligation, but please only do it if you're really committed to doing something, because I love talking to people about property, but only if you're passionate and committed to doing something. If you've just got any other general questions that you'd like me to give my feedback on or my comments on, feel free to send us a question. You can email coach@rachelbarnes.com.au. Just ask us and we'll do our best to answer that. Here's my website, rachelbarnes.com.au. You'll also find some information on there that might help you. If you're looking at cash flow positive properties, for example, I've got a bit of a calculator on there. It helps you to work out what that actually means. So always do your own analysis. Bottom line is, if you're going to do something, do it now. Don't procrastinate. It's a great new year ahead. Make the most of it. Make the most of your life. Have fun every day. I love to have fun. Bye.